What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Straight Betting. Today is Monday. We got Monday Night Football, Bears versus the Vikings. Yeah, Bears versus the Vikings. JJ McCarthy's debut, Ben Johnson's debut. A lot of stuff to go over. Just gonna keep it short here. I'm on my lunch break right now at work. So this video is not gonna be super long or anything, but it is gonna be a quick recap, give out a prop, and then give out just some little nuggets on the game. So let's get into it right away. Quick recap, man. This is where I'm at so far. Every single play is documented. Obviously, it said I had 24 plays. A lot of these are like ladders and stuff that I split up. So the volume's going to be pretty high, but I didn't risk a ton of units as much as this would imply, especially like, if you saw 24 plays during NBA season, that's like probably 28 units being risked or something. It's not the case, but after week one, we stand 12-12 for plus 3.72 units, 23.5% ROI. Let's quick recap some of this stuff, man. So obviously Hollywood Brown came through for us. That was the Friday game. We know what happened Thursday night was not great. Tutu Atwell, CMC, that one scared me with CMC with the calf thing. But I mean, I think he had like 10 receptions or something. And Tutu was a pretty good read. He only had one target, so that was a winner. ETN ends on 13. Got 3 targets. Definitely thought he was going to get a little more screen usage. I think he only had 1 screen. But yeah, fell one short of the base, really close. Obviously, the game script wasn't ideal. He absolutely dominated on the ground, but it happens. Slayton, I think, only had 1 target. I don't know if it was downfield or not. I would assume so. I watched a fair bit of that game, guys. Russell Wilson was atrocious. I don't know. It was this O-line thing, too. They didn't have Andrew Thomas. They had no time. The Commanders blitzed all the time. It was bad. So, yeah, that one, if I could go back in it and not play it, I definitely would. But, there was just no time for him to throw. Jalen Noel, I had him to score a touchdown. I think he played like 38% of the snaps or 38% of the routes. Thought he was going to be more full-time. He did not score a touchdown. Obviously, it's a long shot. But, yeah. Troy Franklin, over 18.5 receiving yards. He cleared this very early and very easy. He was second on the Broncos in routes, so happy with that. Like I said, I wasn't buying the Mims stuff. Thought he was going to be the number 2 in routes. And I think he was like around 80% or so. And I think he had like 40 yards or something. So that was pretty easy. Couple more winners. Pierce under 2.5 receptions. HN 3 receptions, guys. HN had me scared. I think he caught a touchdown pass on a 4th down. That was a juicer leg, man. And yeah, that was very dicey. But Pierce had 3 targets, 1 reception. He played a little bit more than I thought. Definitely was being used as a downfield guy from Daniel Jones. So feel okay about that one. Maybe a little bit lucky, you could say, to get home on the under 1.5 receptions, the plus 155. But like I said, man, I mean, he's just not going to be a high catch rate guy. Josh Allen over 6.5 attempts. I think he had like 11, 10-ish or something. Game script definitely helped there. There was a ton of dropbacks, a ton of sneak attempts and stuff. Like I said, I feel like that was a pretty good read, though. High leverage game, obviously. So Dante Thornton also gets home for us with the 20-plus longest reception. This one came near the end of the game. He had a 36-yard reception. And what made this day special was this as well. Dante Thornton catching the 30-yard catch. He had like a reception for 10 yards early in the game. But he did end the game with, I think, 2 catches and 40-something yards. So the reverse correlation play with under 2.5 reception, 30-plus receiving yards at plus 750 comes home. Only put 0.25 units on there, but yeah, that definitely helped. Another winner, guys. Rashad White under 21.5 rushing yards. Shout out Connor Allen. But this one was a beautiful read by him. And I guess beautiful tail by me because he only had 2 carries and was good, was 2 for 14. But like I said, it's Bucky workhorse season. Sean Tucker got in there for a carry or two, too. So Hunter Renfrow, feel a little bit unlucky with this one. I think he had like an 18% target share. He had 6 targets, only 2 receptions, though. We got this at plus 158. We got really good CLV, but no cigar on that one. Would have been really nice to get that one home. Braylon Allen over 6.5 rushing attempts. So Breece Hall was amazing in this game, guys. He was like amazing. Braylon Allen was awful. It was a complete hot hand thing. I think that most games, I mean, the Jets had 1 million rushing attempts, man, and it sucks that he couldn't get home. He only had 6, so came 1 short. But I would be willing to go back to the Allen well, depending on the line next week, because I think it was mostly a hot hand thing. But at the same time, Breece Hall might just be light years ahead of Braylon Allen as a talent. So maybe it could even get worse. Who knows? Kadero Hodge, I had him to score a touchdown. He was the wrong wide receiver 3. I added this one pretty late. He was not the wide receiver 3. It was Casey Washington. So yeah, I was completely wrong in this. Put 0.25 units on a plus 850. He didn't play in preseason, and he was a wide receiver 3 last year, but he got overtaken. So that was a really, really bad sprinkle. And then this one was pretty sharp as well. I played Eckler over 9.5 first quarter rushing and receiving yards. This is like a DraftKings and FanDuel exclusive line. Played at DraftKings though. And yeah, man, I think he got the first 2 series. So after Chris Rodriguez was ruled inactive, I'm like, I got to think about this because Eckler's been first on the depth chart all since Brian Robinson. He was like first in drills and stuff. I was like, are they really going to have Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt be the starter? Because, you know, it's like a pride thing and like a veteran thing when it comes to like who's starting and stuff. So I was like, I feel like Eckler is going to be really involved early in this game. And yeah, I think he had like a reception or 2, 4 carries in the first quarter and got there very easily. I actually should have taken some alts on this one. So yeah, pretty good first week 1 overall. And I got 1 play for today. If you guys, let's get straight to it. I don't even know what I was about to say. But yeah, let's quick end this screen share. All right. So my play for this game, let's go down to Minnesota and Chicago. I know it says Bijan right now. We're not on rushing attempts. We're not on this either. Passing attempts. I'm going with JJ McCarthy under 31.5 passing attempts. It was at Bet365 at minus 110. Looks like best price now is at FanDuel minus 114. Same with Novig. And yeah, guys, just think that. So this is like a vibes play somewhat. Vikings did have a pretty high pass rate last year, but you got to remember who JJ McCarthy is as a quarterback, who he was in college. This dude was a game manager coming out, and he's basically a rookie. So he's not a rookie technically, but he is. I think that Vikings are going to have a really good defense under Brian Flores. That should not be a hot take. He's probably the best defensive coordinator in the league. Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason, I think, is going to be a really solid running back tandem. Keep them both fresh. 2 really solid runners. O-line was like 7th according to PFF, I believe, maybe even 5th. O-line is heavily improved. Look, JJ McCarthy in his first start on the road in primetime with a good defense and a good run game. I just don't expect them to really be a high pass rate team. Jordan Addison is, of course, not going to be there. And also, guys, the Bears' run defense last year was 26th in EPA, 21st in success rate. Of course, that might not mean the world. They do have a new defensive coordinator in Dallas, Dennis Allen, but it's a good sign. You know, they were a really bad run defense. You know, maybe if they improve, they're still middle of the pack, and you know the Vikings with a good run game can establish it. Another thing, guys, obviously this is a volume-based bet, so volume is going to be very important. Detroit and Chicago were 5th and 6th in the league in opponents' plays ran against, which is weird because for the Bears at least, because they weren't a good team. So you think that they couldn't stay on the field, they couldn't sustain drives, their defense was shit. Usually teams like that, they get a ton of plays ran against them, but that wasn't the case for the Bears for whatever reason. But the bigger thing, guys, is that Ben Johnson's offense is not going to be a very fast-paced offense. They run a ton of pre-snap motion. They do a ton of personnel changes. They're not going to be a no-huddle team. They're going to be very slow to the line of scrimmage and stuff like that. So the pace of this game, I don't expect to be very high. And yeah, man, JJ McCarthy, like I said, kind of a vibes-based bet, but I was kind of expecting to see like a 29.5, 28.5 line. We're getting a 31.5 line. And of course, guys, the game projects to be close. We can look at the spread. It's going to be a 1.5 point spread, I believe. Yep, Minnesota's favored by minus 1.5. I'd be surprised if this Bears offense is just like lethal with how bad Caleb Williams was. Of course, we think that they're going to be better with Ben Johnson, but yeah, man, really expect a neutral to positive game script here. And just the first start, they're going to keep it light on JJ McCarthy, I think. So under 31.5 passing attempts for JJ is my official play. And I should have had that up and running there so you guys could see. All right. Let's break down a little bit of the rest of the game here. Some stuff I like, some stuff I was in between. And then for matchups and stuff like this, guys. So Vikings were actually the best run defense in the league last year on an EPA basis. And they were 3rd best in success rate. So the run defense was elite. We know that they're going to play a ton of too high and zone, which keeps, explosive plays from happening, and Flores is also going to blitz a shit ton. So they were elite against the run last year. I believe they allowed the most targets and receptions to wide receivers last year. So someone that's a little bit interesting to me is maybe some DJ Moore stuff. I really think that Ben Johnson is going to use him as like a low ADOT yak guy. Definitely could see the receptions being there. I don't love a 5.5 line, and it's if you guys remember this year, like he was just getting screen after screen after screen. I think they might use him out of the backfield in some gadgety ways. I know that they were doing that in the training camp. So he's a little bit interesting. Rome Odunze, like I said, I think the targets are going to be there. I think it's going to be tough for him to get going downfield. Don't hate like a longest reception under or anything like that. And then, yeah, man. So, like I said, with the Bears things, I think that DJ Moore is going to get a lot of schemed work. I think that DeAndre Swift in the receiving game is interesting, was definitely leaning towards over 2.5 receptions, especially at plus money. I know some people who got in on the receiving yards early and have a very, very good number, which is good to see. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on Bear things. I think that Komet's going to play a fair bit. Zacchaeus will definitely play over Bird and be close to like for a full-time slot guy, of course, like when they're in 11 personnel. So I don't hate some good Zacchaeus stuff either. But yeah, rushing game for the Bears. I wonder if Monungai does not have a line yet, it seems. Waiting for Roshan news. He's still questionable. But DeAndre Swift unders are pretty interesting. Like I said, I think that Monungai is going to play a lot. I know Ben Johnson had a quote saying how he trusts Kyle Monungai, which is weird for like a 7th-round rookie, obviously. But DeAndre Swift, man, like he never got used at all as a rusher with Ben Johnson when they had Jamal Williams. I don't think he's a good running back. I think he's a fine receiving back, but I don't think he's a good rusher whatsoever. He was actually one of the worst running backs in the league last year. So I don't hate some like under 14.5 attempt stuff, under 53.5 rushing yard stuff. I think that's all pretty valid. Sticking on the running game, though, we already talked about the matchup on the ground for the Vikes. I think that they lean run heavy too. Love Jordan Mason rushing attempts. Love Jordan Mason rushing yards. Think that he's going to be very, very involved on the ground. Think he's going to flirt with, similar rushing attempts as Aaron Jones. So strong lean to Mason overs here as well. Jordan Mason is someone who I might go back and dabble in a little bit, depending on where his line ends up at. Going back to the receivers for the Vikings, like I said, man, I'm on JJ McCarthy's under for passing attempts. So I don't think that they're going to pass the ball a ton. I know Jalen Johnson. I think he's questionable to play. I could be wrong here, but he would be somewhat tough for Jefferson. Of course, it's outside in Chicago. Not the best throwing environment either. So, yeah, I don't really have a ton of thoughts on Vikings receiver stuff. But definitely with my JJ McCarthy thoughts, I think that, volume might be kind of tough to come by. All right, guys. Is there anything else I think of this game? So Vikings offense, I expect to be run heavy. Bears, I expect to, come out and definitely design a bunch of looks for DJ Moore to get him going after the catch. I mean, so much of Ben Johnson's offense is quick hitting after the catch, yak stuff. I think that DJ Moore is going to get some targets early for sure. So like first quarter DJ Moore reception stuff, I think is interesting. First quarter DJ Moore yard stuff, I think is also interesting. Maybe same with Swift, but yeah. It's going to be a lot of underneath stuff from Flores. It's going to be a lot of quick hitters. And of course, guys, Ben Johnson knows that stuff's coming, right? Ben Johnson knows how Brian Flores is going to defend. And I think that, the scheme stuff is going to be to get the ball out of Caleb's hands very quick, especially early in the game when they're still on their script for like first couple plays of the game. All right. Yeah, to sum it up, man, think Vikings go run heavy. Think the Bears might go pass heavy with quick hitting stuff. So take that as you will. And yeah, like I said, official play is going to be McCarthy under 31.5 passing attempts. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow, I believe, with tomorrow or Wednesday, probably Wednesday morning, with a little, buy low, sell high video. I want to do that just to hold myself accountable, looking into some spots early, even though we probably won't have props. And of course, the prop show won't be out. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like and sub to the channel. Underdog, real quick, going to shout them out. Like I said, I used them this weekend for a couple plays, and I'm in North Carolina, so maybe that's a thing. I don't exactly know, but I could bet straight on there. And if you can bet straight on Underdog, it's just an absolute game changer. So make sure to add that to your repertoire. Link down below in the description, and use code BETTN when you make that first deposit. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll catch you guys later.